Hi, I'm Cassidy Sullivan. I read Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. The genre I would say is Greek mythology because they use Greek gods and other elements that they would use in Greek myths. In Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, Percy, a young normal city kid living with his mother, struggling with his identity and his behavior problems in school, he embarks on a journey that he never thought he would go on. He learns that he is a half-blood, which means he's half human, half god. And after having a vision during a class trip and everyone denying it happened, he is taken to Camp Half-Blood in New York, a camp for kids just like him, that keep him safe from monsters who like to attack half-bloods. At the camp, Percy learns more about himself, that he is the son of Poseidon, god of the sea, and that his uncles are actually Hades and Zeus. When Zeus's Master Bolt gets stolen, he blames Poseidon, who tells him that he must return it to him at Mount Olympus by the summer solstice. Percy sets out to find it along with his best friend Grover, Annabeth, the daughter of Athena. The three make it from New York City to the gates of the underworld in Los Angeles to find out that Hades doesn't have the Master Bolt, but uncovers that Hades is actually missing his source of power, the Helm of Darkness. Hades accuses Percy of stealing it, and as he denies it, the Master Bolt appears in Percy's backpack while he is talking to Hades. After escaping him, he battles with Ares, the god of war, and finds out he was the one who stole the Master Bolt and Helm of Darkness from the original thief. Percy wounds him and wins back the Helm of Darkness and returns it to Hades. He returns to New York City to Mount Olympus, found on the 600th floor of the Empire State Building, when he meets Poseidon and Zeus for the first time and tries to explain all he knows. When he returns to the camp, he's a hero, but on the last day, he is lured into the woods by his friend Luke, who tells him he was the original thief and that he works with Kronos, who is trying to destroy the Olympians. Luke then vanishes and leaves Percy with a scorpion bite that nearly kills him. Percy then decides to live out his 7th grade school year with his mom. A particularly interesting paragraph I found was on page 266, where Percy begins, "I started talking to people, and I found it wasn't easy. I struggled. They were glued to the TV screen, or the video game, or their phones, or their food, or whatever. I found a guy who told me it was 1985. Another told me it was 1993. They all claimed they were right and that they haven't been here for that long, a few days, a few weeks at most. They really didn't know, and they really didn't care. And then it occurred to me, how long had I been here? And why do I care?" So before reading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, I was really hoping to get into Greek mythology because we very briefly touched on it freshman year reading the Odyssey, and I was always really fascinated with the topic, and I never pursued any books in the genre. Yes, this book did provide me with a new outlook to never give up on finding myself, no matter what the truth is, tells me, or what I uncover. Just to keep pursuing it and never give up. Technically, I really didn't aspire to be anything in this book. It was really just me being super interested in the genre and trying out a new one. So I chose these 3 quotes because these were definitely my favorite quotes in the whole book. The first one was, "The best people always have the rottenest luck." And Percy says this when he's talking to his mom because he thinks of his mom as literal gold. He thinks that she deserves so much better than her current boyfriend and her whole lifestyle because he thinks that she doesn't deserve it. The second one, "Go on with your heart, with what your heart tells you, or you'll lose all." I agree with this. I feel like you should always go with your heart. Go with what you think is right, because if you don't listen to it, it just won't work out for you and you're just gonna lose it all. The final one, "It's funny how humans can wrap their mind around things and fit them into their own version of reality." This is definitely my favorite quote because I feel like I strongly relate to this one because a million people manipulate things to fit into their own version of whatever they wanted it to fit into. They take one thing, they make it sure it works with another, and they pretend you said it. So I loved this quote. This was such a great quote. So overall, I would definitely recommend this book. I would give it 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It incorporated some fantasy, some fiction with some Greek mythology, and it just connected all through one moral of finding yourself and where you belong. And although we probably all won't find out that we're the son of Poseidon or the child of Zeus, it just kind of inspired me to ask all the right questions and make sure you always know where you're going and where you belong. And it relates to the journey that we've been learning about in the beginning of the year, because this was Percy's journey to actually finding himself, knowing the truth, and knowing where he belongs in his life. I feel like the character Percy is very relatable, and although we're not the same age, I feel like in the beginning he was so lost and so confused, and he didn't know why he was there or what he's doing or what his purpose was. And him going on this journey just changed his whole life. It just showed him the true meaning, who he actually was. It led him to understand everything in his life that he was so confused about in the beginning. Hi, I'm Cassidy Sullivan. I read Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I would say oh my god. Hi. His lightning bolt is stolen, Poseidon gets blamed. Zeus tells Poseidon that he must return the bolt to Poseidon. Bam! Don't know what I'm saying. Oh! Helping Percy are his best friend Grover and Annabeth, the son of Athena. The daughter of Athena! The daughter of Athena! What is going on? Human, half god. And after having a vision during a class trip, Camp Half-Blood, Percy has a great time living the life of a hero. A hero, like a Cheerio! Oh. In Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, Percy, a young, normal city kid living with his mother, struggling with his identity and his behavioral problems in school. Christmas music. Okay, so I chose these clips because as I was reading, I found that these were the